Alrighty, folks, what's going on? Today, we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. I don't know if I'm going to make this a free thoughts episode yet, but we're going to be reviewing this Holosun 508T. No, I'm just playing. This is going to be in the video though, but I literally just got this box for the screws. Today's basic message is that you don't need to have the super custom pistol to be functional, right? You don't need a whole bunch of gadgets and gizmos. You don't need a whole bunch of parts and accessories that look cool and or might enhance your capability. What you really need is training. Now, this is a hard truth that a lot of people have not quite come to terms with yet, but you might just need to hear it from somebody like me. Don't know why, but it's true. You might just need training. You might just need to get off your ass and go out and train somewhere. So, that being said, let's get the intro in, starting now. Alright, now if you stayed past the intro, what's happening in the background really doesn't matter today. Basically, I'm not doing nothing except showing I'm showing you me customizing one of my pistols. Now, basically, I'm just showing you guys. I'm installing this optic real quick. But there's nothing really crazy that can enhance your capability other than really training. Now, what do I mean by that? Of course, there's tools, gadgets, and gizmos that can slightly enhance your capability, but they can't really enhance your performance, if that makes sense. So what do I mean by that? Basically, I'm saying that if you get a upgraded trigger, right, that will make you shoot slightly faster, but will that make you perform better? No. The only thing that will help you perform better is basic mechanics and basic trigger squeeze and function and all of that stuff. So that being said, should you get that upgraded trigger? That's really up for you to decide. A lot of times these parts are confused for range toys they're confused with actual functional upgrades when they're really just range toys. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, if you want to go out and buy a 2-pound trigger so that you can shoot faster at the range, by all means, but just know that there's always give and take. Lighter triggers more likely to go off when you don't want them to, right? In addition to that, you can shoot faster, but then you have a higher risk of negligent discharges. So, there's always give and take with something, always, no matter what. And there's the same with, using a whole bunch of aftermarket accessories. Even if the accessories are OEM, you still run the risk of them not being fully functional and flawlessly fit, finish, and aesthetics and functionality. Perfect example of this is the Glock 30s, Glock 33 round magazines. Those are not designed to be used by civilians by normal Glocks. They're actually patented to be used for automatic fire out of Glocks for certain Glocks only, with the select fire capabilities. Now, does that mean that they're not good or they don't function or anything like that? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you have to take that into consideration. Now, like I said, there's always give and take with this, ranting a little bit, but with those magazines, they're very, very hard to conceal on the person, not like in a bag or in a truck gun, case scenario, something like that. But they are very hard to conceal. So you get more capacity, but it's harder to conceal those. And the lines have been getting blurred recently with stuff that's been coming out, as far as what was I about to say? Capacity and form factor. So like there's been smaller magazines coming out that are basically made for bigger platforms. So or like the same size platform is getting bigger magazines, bigger capacity, larger capacities. I'm ranting a little bit. Anyways, you don't need the super custom red dots to perform iron sights work. You don't need the super custom magazine extensions. The OEM regular mags work fine. You don't need the super custom, super expensive Surefire lights or TLR lasers or whatever that you're trying to put on your gun. A regular flashlight will work fine. People have been doing the police arm flashlight thing for years, and it still works. So I would say the best way to get around whether your gear actually works for your capabilities and your scenarios is to actually train with them. So actually do shoot house courses, do force on force training, do not only just flat range training, but actually go to a range and do some transition reloads, drills, shoot, move, communicate drills. Actually do, like, if you have the capability to do a shoot house, I recommend it very, very highly, because they actually show you your snag hazards, what you actually need in going from a dark to a light scenario. If you have gear that doesn't flow with your weapon, or if your CQB capabilities are even up to par. So, keep that in mind. Take that into consideration when you're buying new gear, upgrades and stuff like that. But just because one piece of gear works for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Like, there could be a million YouTubers, and YouTube is like the big culprit of this. I've seen somebody will buy something and then, oh, well, yeah, it works, so I'm going to buy it. That's not necessarily the case all the time. So, just because somebody have something and it works for them doesn't mean that it'll work for you. Perfect example of this is sorry about that. Perfect example of this is the the Olight products. People are paid by companies to review stuff. I'm gonna be making a later video about that, but like, do y'all not think that these people are getting paid by these companies to make product reviews and all of that stuff? Like, it's absolutely happening. That being said, if you are in the firearms industry, shoot, you might want to start paying people to review your stuff if it ain't selling, because that's the best way to do it. It's the best way to get your stuff on the map and on the market, and making it do what it do. But you don't need it. I'm not saying like a Joe Biden, you don't need an AR-15 to aim. It's harder, or you don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim. It's harder to use. Buy a shotgun. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that whatever you do get, make sure you train with it, and don't be fooled by all of these YouTube shills who are trying to sell you more than what you need. I say get what you need and call it a day. That sounds good to me. Hold on, I gotta find this freaking screw that I'm looking for. Some short screws, man. Anyways, don't be fooled by the looks of the gear. If somebody has a whole bunch of, and this is a good example of this, go back and watch Doomsday Preppers, and you will see that they're always lacking on one of the three categories. Either they don't have no training, they don't have no medical, or they have no way to protect everything that they have. So they'll have a whole bunch of food and water and preservatives and know how to live off the land, but no way to protect it. They'll have a whole bunch of guns and ammo with no medical or no training, or they'll have limited to no food and water preps, or they'll have all three but don't know how to shoot a gun at all, don't know how to do any medical training, nothing. So they're always lacking in one of these categories. Like John Level said, he could come and take literally anything and have at any point, and there's nothing they could do about it. And I believe that, with the right set of mindset, anybody can do that, because I can see now, with all the research and stuff that I do, I can see where people are lacking on these preps and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that everybody on there was terrible or nothing like that, but most of the time they're always lacking in one area. But I did see that, and a lot of them didn't have any like tactical Gucci gear or nothing, which raised my mind. The question in my mind, like, is it at all necessary to have that stuff if you're trying to, prepare for this type of stuff? Like, do you even need any of that stuff? And in my mind, the answer was, not really. Because, I mean, if you look at situations look at Kyle Rittenhouse situation, right? He was able to defend his life against 3 attackers where they were trying to hurt him. And all he had was a basic, I don't know what type of maker model it was, it looked like a PA-15, right? Basic, mid-length gas system, it looked like, with the regular handguard, no lights, no lasers, no upgraded triggers, no nothing. Just a regular rifle with little to no upgrades, right? And he was able to defend his life with, and he's done some training, not no shoot course tactical stuff, but he's done some gun safety training and been to the range a few times. And he was only 17 when that happened. Now, somebody educate me on this in the comments. Why is Kyle Rittenhouse touring the country? Is he just telling people how to survive encounters like this or something, or don't be scared, or motivational stuff? I don't know. This has little to no threat engagement. I'm gonna have to get some more of these screws. But he did that with no real training at all, really. No tactical gear, nothing like that. And he did it all by himself. And I thought that was pretty cool, because not that he did it, defended his life against these pedophiles or whatever that was attacking him. But I think it's pretty cool that he was able to defend himself with little to no training, and fend off these people from hurting his businesses, his family's business or whatever. I don't know the full story. Funny story, I was actually Kyle Rittenhouse myself. Protesters came out of my street and blah 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 blah. Anyways, that's a story for another day. But you don't need a lot of stuff that I see people running. A lot of times it's just getting blatantly unnecessary, to the point where it's like, why? And I think that's the reason why retro rifles are coming back. I'm going to be reviewing a couple retro rifles in my upcoming series, Rate My Kit. I got a couple on standby that I'm going to be doing for sure. But yeah, I keep getting a lot of people asking me, what's this cage? What's this metal thingy, blah, blah, blah. It's just a modified Strike Industries Rex rail that I've modified to fit on here. I might actually come out with my own design, because this one doesn't really protect hollow suns, which is what most people run in, to be honest. Trigicons are outdated, in my opinion. Not the ACOG, but the RMR. My opinion, opinion warning. Don't at me in the comments, but I want to come out with a universal one. This is really good, but the footprint is too much on the bottom right here. I know it's not made for pistols, right? But I'm gonna make one that's specifically made for RMR cuts on most pistols. And I know that was it Radian is coming out with one with the stuff to protect it on where you can rack it off of stuff and all that stuff. I'm not doing it that extreme. Basically mine's is gonna just have the clearance on the front where it can not hit the glass, not shatter the glass, and protect the cage, protect the top of the optics from drops, so that this can be a disposable piece that if this gets damaged, this, and this is solid too, this is steel. But it's just this part right here, it's just taking up too much real estate, so I have to get longer screws, which, you know, I don't think they come in the box. So I want to be able to, people to have a decent thread engagement while using these out of the box, you know. So side note. But yeah, you don't need a Gucci pistol. You don't need a Gucci fire rifle. You know, I'm not a big just as good kind of guy. Honestly, I have good gear. I train with good stuff. I know what's vetted. I can kind of sift through the BS on different, you know, base plates, optics, lights, and lasers. Just the extra stuff, right? When it comes down to it, and you take all of this stuff away, what are you left with? You're left with a basic pistol that relies on your basic fundamentals. You're left with a pistol that you still have to do a trigger pull. You still have to manage your trigger press, your recoil control, all of that stuff. At the end of the day, it all comes back to training. So I would say train the fundamentals before you go to a Gucci, because you don't want to have that as a crutch. Like now that I'm used to 1.5 triggers or whatever, now I have to put them in every one of my triggers so that I can have the same trigger press with every trigger. Whereas if you train with the OEM, you'd be like, man, it's kind of sucks, but I'm used to it. And then when you get an upgrade, then you can build on those fundamentals and be even better with it, instead of relying on the upgrade. Whereas you're trying to cheat the hill by getting a jetpack when you still have to walk back down. That's a quote by me, by the way. Nobody said that. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Stay tuned. We got more coming, so stay tuned. Yeah, this has been Practical Civilian. Peace.